Welcome back, and you're very welcome if you're new. Today we are going to have a little chat. I have been planning now decoratively for 5 full years, and I'm going to take you through each of my planners and we'll talk about the different style changes and just have a bit of fun. And hopefully you'll get some inspiration from that. And then once I've done that, I'm going to talk about my updated 2025 planner and journaling lineup and how it's going so far in my new planners and stuff like that. So make yourself comfy, get your favourite drink, and let's have a chat. So let's go way back to 2019. I'd always been a planner and someone that was really addicted to stationery. But my experience of planning at that point was like £5 planners from Eason's, you know, with really cheap paper, and I would use it for a couple of months and then get fed up with it and stuff like that. I had no idea that the planner community and the whole sticker shop world existed. So I discovered the planner community back in 2019. It was actually the very first planner channel I watched was a lady called Mrs. Mum Next Door. And when I first saw it, I was really thinking, whoa, that's way too many stickers. I can't believe how many stickers she uses, which is a gag now. But anyway, I had never seen anything like that at all. But anyway, I then discovered other channels through that and got addicted to watching planner channels and discovered Erin Condren. And I thought I would really like to try sharing it on YouTube, and I figured not very many people would watch it and I would just do it for fun and see if I like it. And it was in the back of my mind for a while, and I started collecting sticker kits and things. The shops that I'm in to now and my style that I found now, I had no idea what my style was, so I just bought lots of different things to try it and purchased my very first Erin Condren planner. And I am a bound book person and always have been, but again, I didn't know that bound planners existed, and honestly at the time there weren't that many. The soft bound planners at that stage didn't exist in Erin Condren, Hemlock and Oak didn't exist, you know, that sort of thing. But I decided to get this and try it, and I built up a little stock, and then I was holding off thinking that did I want to just do it on my own basically, or did I want to share it? And then I got made redundant from my job that I had been in for 14 years. And I thought, well, do you know what? I have plenty of time while I'm looking for another job. I was able to take a little break before I started looking. And I thought I'll just give it a go and start my channel. And I did. Now this is not my style at all. Like I said, I just hadn't a clue what my style even was. And I just had a play and I enjoyed it. But I know when I look back on this, I'm going to be like, who even is this creating these spreads? But anyway, it started in August. I didn't do it right from January. And in July that year was the Kaleidoscope release. The year before that, I think, was Woven Wonder. I bought a bunch of Erin Condren stickers and a bunch of, like I said, of kits from various shops on Etsy and just collected because I didn't have anything at the time, stationery collection wise. And I decided just to track my time of the month and bins and annual leave. And there was no such thing as Zig Clean colour dots then. So I drew really bad circles around everything. Oh dear. And then I used this for events. And then because I thought a kit was way too much for me to use for a week, I bought the kits, but I used them throughout the whole month. And this is a horizontal planner because that's what I was used to at the time. I had never even tried an hourly or a vertical. So I'm not going to flip through every single spread in these planners because we have a lot to get through. But this gives you the general idea of what I was doing. I just had fun and played with stickers. And even though this is not my style at all, I found my style through experimentation. I'd only been using it for 2 months and they released their very first softbound planner to start in January of 2020. because they release their main planners in July and then they release their soft bounds now in September. And I couldn't believe it, because like I said, I've always been a bound book person and I never had seen anything like that, and I thought this is absolutely gorgeous. And coils just weren't for me, I knew that, but I thought that this was, you know, I loved the paper of it and I thought it was the only option, let's just say. So this is when I then swapped to soft bounds, and I completed 5 full years in either the soft bound or the Focus soft bound planners. So this is 2020. So as you can see, if I can hold all these up and fit them all in, it gets thicker and thicker and thicker. And I will say about these, they really do hold up to all the stickers. They're really good quality. So yes, I fell in love, wanted to try it, got this home. It's dark charcoal. And after playing about with the whole Etsy sticker kits, I didn't really think that that was for me. And I wanted to have something to use as a weekly theme, but I didn't want to buy full kits. So it was somewhere in between. The monthly kit wasn't enough because I wanted more in a week, but using it weekly with what comes in a kit was too much, because you got all your full boxes, your icons, your quarter boxes, half boxes, all that there, and I thought that wasn't what I wanted. So what I decided to do for this was I bought an Erin Condren sticker sheet for every week of the year, and I only got the ones that you could customise, because at this stage I was obsessed with neutrals, and I still am, but I refuse to use anything else. So I only used grey, blue, green, purple, and I think there might have been brown, but definitely those 4 was all I got for the sheets. I customised them into that colourway for the entire thing. And this was actually a memory planner. So at the time I bought the A5 soft bound version that was in horizontal, and I used it functionally and had it separately, and then I would sit down at the end of the week with my functional planner beside me and complete this spread. And that's changed over time, but that's what I started doing in 2020, and I kept that for a few years, that type of system, because I had functional monthly spreads and functional openings in my other journal. This was just a duplicate, and I don't know why at the time it never occurred to me to do something fun with this, because it's my memory planner in the way I do now. I simply duplicated my functional spread, but oh well, you don't know until you try. I definitely am a believer in that. Yeah, and then this is the birthdays. I used this as an extra functional spread with to-dos and to-buys. Like, I don't need to know that I needed to buy dog treats and toilet roll and whole milk in my memory planner. Laughing at myself, but again, that's how you learn. Anyway, so then here I've decided to do trackers. So what was I tracking? I don't know what I was tracking up here. Why didn't I write that down? This one is obviously in bed by 9:30, but what was I tracking there? I have no idea. Oh, drink water and track intake. So maybe that's the water. Anyway, right, so then this is my monthly spread, and I still do this now, only I have upped the level to add memories into it. So this is all my YouTube videos. So I used it because at the time, and I've changed this too, I've now separated out to have a separate place to contain all my YouTube milestones and memories. But I used the monthly spreads in my memory planner at the start and contained them all together. And I also put in then the birthdays and the bins. And this is what I mean then. So I got one of these kits to use as a base. And then I also picked a washi. And then I used my Erin Condren stickers. And you'll see as time goes on, I discover Coffee Monsters Co. and Fox and Pip and start to add them in. And over at the side here, I have a water tracker which is a duplicate from my functional. So I must have added them together and then went to the monthly and put the total for week 1. Yeah, that must have been it. And this will always be special to me, even though this isn't my style now. It's where I started really, because that other one really was an experiment, and I don't know if I will ever actually keep it forever, but this is my very first full year of decorative planning, where I really started to hone in and start to discover my style. I must have been watching Gilmore Girls. Yeah. Oh dear. So you can see it's one set colour palette the whole way through it. Not a bright colour to be found. Oh look, Outlander book 1. I'm currently reading the Outlander series. At that stage I had only ever read the first book, and I'd never read any of the other ones because I had a huff about what happened at the end. But I was advised by a subscriber to skip past that bit and keep going because it's worth it, and she was right. So anyway, so this is the layers. And something that's always been tough about this is the options they have available, which I understand why. It's because they're not as popular as their koi planners, so they only make a certain amount so that they don't end up with a whole lot of planners they don't need. But then as the purchaser, it limits your options. So for example, if I wanted to get this vertical neutral layers, I had to get this cover because that was literally the only option. And I wouldn't have chose to have the layers neutral pattern on the outside. I would rather have plain light grey or even plain that colour. That would have been lovely actually. But that was the only option. And there's been years that I hated every cover option. And that's another thing actually. I ended up in the vertical, I forgot to mention that, for 2020, because there was no horizontal in the softbound other than the A5, and I didn't want to use the A5 for my memory planner. Although in saying that, I ended up really enjoying the vertical, and I still am in a vertical style of planning, so in a way it made me try it. But anyway, this little thing I made because I was dabbling in trying to make my own sticker book. I'm a long way in how I store my stickers. But anyway, I was dabbling in thinking about getting a happy planner. They're like the folders that you put stickers in, and then hole punching and making my own cover. But anyway, I couldn't get a happy planner hole punch is the short story of that over here. And it just wasn't for me. I thought it was way too cute to waste. As you can see, I dropped the bins this year. And this year I was still using this as a memory planner. I had an A5 horizontal softbound that I used as a functional, but I still duplicated this and just did this as a memory version of it. And then here, this is different. I've decided to do a spring cleaning checklist. Oh, this was the year that I decided I wanted to try bullet journaling. So I had went through and drew a coffee cup as my title page in the bullet journal, and then I decided I hated it. I couldn't be bothered setting up my own layout every week. It just wasn't for me. So I went through the dot grid, I think it was a Scribbles That Matter dot grid, I can't remember, and took out all the little coffee cups that I had drawn and stuck it in here because I've learned that I don't need this note page. I turned it into a cover instead of trying to use this functionally when it's a memory planner. Anyway, and I'm still doing my same use for this, only this time I have started listing Instagram down the side. Did I do that in 2020? I don't think I was. But anyway, so yeah, I have Instagram, YouTube. So this is like my socials journal thing that I have now. And this was my word of the year. I took that out of my bullet journal and stuck it in. See, I'm starting to find my style. I like to have a theme and sort of consistency. So this little emoji, I always put an emoji every month here. And then I always have a coffee cup that represents the month here. So I'm starting to lean into finding my style. And I dropped the sticker sheet per week in this and just use washi and stickers. I didn't have any form of kit whatsoever. These are just from a sticker bin, and I think I used, which is really something that I wouldn't do now, a blue pen. I used the same blue pen. It was this one, I think, Energel Plena, for the entire year. Maybe it wasn't the Energel Plena, I don't remember, but anyway. So it was all Coffee, Munsters Co and Fox and Pip, and just washies, basically. I picked a washi for every week. And here I've cut out the edge of a journaling card and stuck it in. And you can see me finding my style. Oh, I must have got my little stencil for coffee here and discovered, what are they called? Oh, mental blank, distress inks. I really need to start using them more. I love them. April showers. I think these were the emotis that were on the top of the free calendars. And December. Very cute. Yep, so this was a year of my sticker collection along with a washi. And this is 2022. This is actually a focused softbound rather than the Erin Condren one, because I didn't like any of the options and this was plain grey, and I figured I had done horizontal before because that's the only option for focused. There's no vertical option, and I figured I would just change it up and do something different. So I didn't like the inside cover of this. Yeah, that's what it was. This was the year that they released the Flora planners, and I loved the Flora pattern, but I didn't like any of the Flora options that they gave for the main Erin Condrens, so I bought a focused and inserted the Flora myself. So this is from Teddy Plans Co, this little thing. It's a freebie. And I've started officially to make it fully memory and not try to make it functional. And I was still using a separate softbound in A5 at this point. This was still a memory planner. So these are the free calendar digitals for 2022. I just covered the months just for something fun. And then I wrote a little something on the 1st of January, and I wrote a little something on the 31st of January. Then here I have done a little spread. I must have covered whatever was underneath that and put a little journaling card and did my overview of the birthdays. And I'm still doing YouTube in my memory planner, only I've started to introduce putting in thumbnails rather than just writing them in, and I've taken away everything else. So it's solely just YouTube and my watch hours and statistics, and all the functional plans for the month are in my functional planner simply. And then here, because this is a different layout, it's focused, I've done what am I doing? What am I thinking? What am I watching? I started to track my currently watching. And that is the Instagram posts for the month. So you can see my style developing. And this year again was a year of using my stickers and washi. And then something else that I did, because this was horizontal, and when I started to think about actually using this planner, I decided to try daily journaling. However, what I did was I bought an A5 version of this planner, so the exact focused one, and I wrote my journaling in it daily in the other A5 and took a note of what my plans were for that day as well. So whenever I sat down at the end of the week, I had this smaller, rougher version that I then sat down and converted over to here with all the stickers and made it nice as a memory planner. And then I didn't keep that other journal that was just scribbly that I just wrote my stuff in. And that was my way of getting into decorative journaling. And I made it part of my memory planner. So I have the plans at this side and the journaling at the bottom. And that way I thought I was only committing to a very small section of journaling, and I didn't have to worry about making it nice on the day that I was writing it, and then sat down at the end of the week and wrote it all out. So yeah, that's what I did for the full year, and I kept it up for the full year. I mean, if there was nothing to write that day, you'll see, I'm sure at some point I wrote like a quote of it or something, you know, or just put stickers there. That's fine, you know, I kept it up for the majority of the year of writing thoughts. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. And we're still in the stickers and washi phase. And I just did something different with the blank page in between, you know, because at the end of the month there is a blank page and then you go into your next month. So here I've done like an affirmations, words have power spread, and then we're back into our YouTube, what am I doing, thinking, watching, and Instagram, and then just a cover page with a blank page. Here I journaled my 30th birthday, or Stephen's 30th birthday weekend rather, and what we did. Yeah, really enjoyed this. 2023 was a weird year in planning for me. I was fed up of using an 8x10 by this point, but it was either an 8x10 or an A5 in their softbounds. And I didn't want to use a Hobonichi. I knew that the Tomo River paper wouldn't be for me, plus all the pops of red and everything, that would really annoy me. So I saw that Scribbles That Matter had a B5 and I decided to use it. And I tried a different planner alongside it for my functional planner instead of the A5 softbound. I think it was an Archer and Olive or something. But no matter what I used that year, I just couldn't find planner piece at all. And it turned out the Scribbles That Matter B5 could not handle the chunk at all. And it was just sitting open this thick. And this is my keepsake. I don't want it to fall apart and the binding all to break. So I took the leap and made the decision to recreate it. So this is actually a 2024 focused softbound. But I got 2023 pressed into it. I'm surprised they didn't contact me to say, are you sure you haven't hit the wrong button? But they didn't. Anyway, so I put 2023 in it. And then I recreated my memory planner and it was really worth it. I love how this turned out. And what I did for this year was I had discovered Hubman and Chub Girl sort of in the mid of 2023. But because I was restarting, I took the opportunity to introduce using kits. But I used full boxes rather than the whole kit. And that way I was able to take advantage of the free digitals that are available on Hubman and Chub Girl. And that way it didn't cost quite as much, you know, to be starting towards the end of 2023 and do the whole year. So I just set my Scribbles That Matter to the side to actually convert over the memories and redid the whole thing. So anyway, yeah, this is a Coffee Monsters Co. little nameplate. This was made with the free digitals, and then obviously I had some of my purchase stuff too. And I did their monthly subscriptions for the month. I used the free digitals to make my own monthly kit. So I just used this as a what my themes are spread. So January was Cozy Cats, etc. And then the overarching setup themes are plants. And this is my new discovered style. I'm still with it, and I'm doing this in 2025 and you'll see it in 2024, of having an overarching theme for the setup spreads and themes for the month and having this little theme spread. Anyway, yeah, so this is my yearly overview with all the birthdays, the same layout of a focused softbound. But this year I really lent into the fact that this is a memory planner. So every day I put in something, a little memory. And this is the year that I did my very first separate socials journal. So I took out all the Instagram, YouTube memories and stats and have it as a separate journal now. And this is solely my memory planner. And anywhere I didn't have something, you can see I used sticker paper and just took advantage of printing the little free digitals, and this was all made with those. And then I purchased the monthly spread that comes in a journaling subscription, but you can purchase them individually, that has the days of the week, titles and dates. So that was that. And then, as you can see, I didn't need very much for this, so I just had fun with all the different free digitals and did 2 things that happened, 2 or 3 sometimes, depending. So this was New Year and this was a Dublin trip, and got rid of the whole what's happening, currently watching, blah 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 thing. Because this year I introduced a year in my life journal as well as a socials journal. So all the journaling came out as well. So this is solely plans. And my journaling, I did, instead of doing a daily thing, I did prompts, and I then sat and typed out my answer to all those prompts. And then I sat down with my phone beside me. I had the prompts on like a notes app and wrote out all my journaling. So it's a separate thing now, and so's the socials, and this was solely memory planning. Yeah, like I said, I just kept it really simple. But I actually wrote my year in my life journaling prompts down here. So it was like a nod to that. So I wrote about Boxing Day, unplugging Instagram and YouTube. I took down the decorations and New Year's. And if I then go to my journal for that week, I'll get to read all about them. So yeah, I really loved that. And as well as doing my own full boxes from free digitals, I also had previously purchased a set of full boxes for Coffee Monsters Co kits that I had. So I had a set of full boxes, and then I had the full Hobonichi cousin kits for everything, because I had initially intended to use them to coincide, one for a weekly spread, one to be used in a daily planner, but that went out the window, and I decided I'm going to use my Hobonichi cousin kits. We'll get to that in a second. But for this year then, the extra page of full boxes for the main size kits I used in here. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, and I made a little week 52 sort of digital here. I actually wrote my socials here, I've just noticed when I posted, but I just wrote them. And where I was working, whether it was from home or in the office, that's what I used this bottom section for. And that's February. These were actually made from little quotes that had been given over the years from Coffee Monsters Co. There's another Hubman and Chub Girl one for full boxes. You get the idea, I really enjoyed it. And I was able to basically do it without really spending any money, because I already owned all these and the other digitals were free, and then I just pulled from my actual stash again that I already owned. Really enjoyed it. The only thing I needed to purchase really was all the sets of stickers to do the monthlies. It was a bit of work at the time, but I just sat and played music and did it in my studio, and I could play with stickers for hours, so it didn't bother me, to be quite honest. Then the other thing I introduced this year was weekly themes. Now this I went all out with, I haven't done this again. So in the front I did the monthly themes, and I printed a little circle and either put the digital in to represent the theme, or put a sticker on from that to represent the theme. So for example, it was Golden New Year's, I just put 3 of the little stickers, and that's Midnights, Classic Emojis, Cozy Cats, and wrote the entire 52 weeks themes at the back, because at this point of the year I didn't need the note pages for anything else, so I just thought I might as well use them for that. And then 2023 was the first time I got stationery subscriptions. So these are the ones that were for Coffee Monsters Co for the year, and these were the ones that were for Hubman and Chub Girl for the year. And that's 2023. And then this one I've just done a flip through. I'll link through the 2 flip throughs, January to June and July to December. But this is my 2024 full year, and I decided to use sticker kits, but because I had already collected Hobonichi sticker kits, like I was mentioning earlier, I decided to use them, even though this is an 8x10 planner. And this is a wildflower cover. And I was able to, for the very first time, to use an hourly layout, which I had wanted to do for a while, but it never came in the colouring that I liked. So I just decided to go for it with this. And because Coffee Monsters Co. have a floral theme for the year, I thought it would work. And I really enjoyed this year. I used Hobonichi kit every week. And as I was saying, it's a gag, me saying about how she used way too many stickers. Look at that. Oh dear. So it's just what you're used to. The more you use them, the more you get used to it, I suppose. And I just absolutely love this. And this year, this was my real planner. I did in 2023 use October, December and November in here in a daily. But for last year, I didn't have that. I just sort of scribbled in a notebook at the side, and I had a pre-planner that I could scribble in. I am introducing again this year, and you'll see in a second, a side planner, but it's not, I don't think I'll ever have 2 weeklies at the same time, because I've combined function and memory planning, and I'm over the sitting down at the end of the week and creating a spread. I would rather do it as I go along. So at the start of the week, I put down the plans that I know, and then as the week goes on, I put down what I'm actually going to do and add in any little things, memories that happen. And that way, by the end of the week, it's completely done, and I just move on to the next week. And with this, I added in, the way in 2023, I put a little memory for each day. I put the function and the memory in here. So that leads me to this year and what I'm doing now. And this is my 2025 planner, my Where Have You Been All My Life planner. And this is exactly what I was longing for. If you watched my initial, what planners am I using in 2025, you will notice that this is the flex cover. I was sent the hardbound version here by mistake, even though I pre-ordered this. But thankfully, they had discovered a little bit of stock randomly in their warehouse, and they sent out an email newsletter, and I jumped at the chance because I knew very well that I don't mind using a hardbound even if it's a journal, you know what I mean, if I have to, but something that I'm in daily like this, that's a planner. I just knew myself, and I knew that I would rather have the paper flex, and at the end of the day, that's what I ordered. And I'm glad I was able to get it. And I'm just obsessed, and I'm continuing on using kits, but this year I'm using the standard size kits rather than Hobonichi. Although to be honest, I'm quite tempted to switch again because I really enjoyed using Hobonichi kits. But anyway, we'll see about that. But this is a B5. So for me, this is the perfect balance between not having a big 8x10, but the A5s being too small. And this just stays on my desk. And as you can see, I've just totally found my style. These are the 2025 themes. And in 2024, as well as this year, I did the weekly themes at the front. Rather than writing, you know, doing all those circles at the back like I initially did. But I love it because it's a good reference to what kits I'm using. And just in general, I just love it. And then here's my overview. So I have bank holidays, events. Oh, I just realised I haven't highlighted that. And N75. Anyway, yes, so birthdays and events are in here. And this system I have found compared to what I was doing, you know, even though I enjoyed it at the time, you find your niche over the years. And this is functional and memory planning the way I did last year, so I don't need to sit down at the end of the week and do a memory spread anymore. I just have it ready and I can do a little bit every day, and I'm getting to enjoy my stickers every day as opposed to once a week. And it's just so much fun. I have my weekly themes spread and dashboard. I'll link below the setup of this planner and the playlist of all the plan with me so far for this planner. But I just can't say enough how much I love this planner, and I'm just obsessed with it and I'm really enjoying it. and I'm not regretting the tabs so far, so hopefully that stays. I love the fact I was able to stick this sticker on. Just awesome planner. And then show you my full lineup. This is my socials journal for the year. It hasn't changed since you last saw it. I absolutely love it. I'll be setting up February in it soon whenever my journal subscription arrives. So make sure you subscribe if you don't want to miss that. And I'll do a flip through in it of the completed January so you can get an idea of what it looks like. But this is awesome. This is an Archer and Olive B5. And while I didn't like the Archer and Olive, it was an A5 for functional planning because it was hardback. I don't know what it is about me. Something like this, it's a journal that I'm only lifting out to fill in my stats and stuff every so often. I'm not reaching for it every day. I don't mind the fact that it's hardback. In fact, I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Now, the last thing in my lineup has changed in that I have an additional thing that I didn't mention in my original lineup, and what I said I'm using for my year in my life has changed. So I said I was going to use these as my year in my life journal this year, but I just couldn't get out of my head, as gorgeous as these are and as much as I was looking forward to using the layout and love the paper type, I just couldn't get over the fact that it wouldn't all be in the same year. And I was worried about buying it in the same year because I thought, am I going to hate how much of a dip there is whenever you open it? But honestly, there's a dip in all my journals and planners at the minute because you're at the start of the year. That's just the way it is. And you can just put something else underneath it. You know what I mean? I just figured that's not enough of a reason to not use it because after a few weeks, that issue will be gone. And I knew that I would get halfway through the year and be really annoyed at myself for not having my journaling all in one year. And my journaling is something I've built up. You saw back in 2022, I started the daily journaling, and then in 2023, I did weekly. Last year, I did daily in a small format in a focus planner. So it was the way I had in 2022 where I did the daily journaling and the plans. Last year, I just did the journaling in that spread. Now this year, I want a daily journal and I'm still going to do it. I'm simply doing it in this. I will have a setup for this and I'm going to flip through a completed January. So I'm not going to show it now, but don't worry, that's coming up. But I still had these. So I decided I was going to bring back having two planners. Now, I'm not going back to the way it used to be, where I had an A5 completely functional planner and a memory planner. That other one is my weekly functional planner. But this is a daily and it goes alongside my weekly. There'll be some days where I don't need it and I can use it for notes pages or whatever, but I like having that additional place that I can not be afraid to score things out, that I can add things in advance, that I can keep downstairs with me and at my work desk, because my studio is up the stairs and my work desk is down the stairs. I don't bring that other planner I showed you out of my studio. I love it too much, it's my precious. But I'm not afraid to take this anywhere. So I thought that would be a good idea. And I'll probably not show this planner again because I'll have it sitting down beside me and I might use it for like work notes if I need to write in work. It'll just be whatever I need it for and be completely functional. So I've just used some of the Cozy Bookworm stickers. It's been my ongoing theme of overarching setup this year. I'm obsessed with it. But here I'm going to use it completely functionally as my time of the month tracker, and I'll also track annual leave and anything like that. Anything I need it to be, basically. And this is my events and birthdays, and even though this is a duplicate, this is going to be downstairs, like I said, at my other desk and be with me all the time, whereas the other one isn't. So I didn't mind that it was a duplicate because I'll have this to refer to. And then this is going to be appointments, so I'm able to write in advance, so when I go to set up and plan for the month, I can do that in here and then set this in front of me when I go to actually decoratively plan for the month before the month starts. But I'm not afraid to, like, I'm ticking things off here whenever they're done. If something changes, I'll put an X, you know what I mean? I have more of that freedom when I'm still using stickers and all the things because I'm obsessed with stationery, and why not? It's not my keepsake, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't put that in my February monthly because I haven't put the stickers down yet to set up my February monthly, do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just good to have. So that is my updated lineup for 2025, as well as a look back over my planning journey. I hope you enjoyed that and enjoyed hanging out, and I hope you got lots of inspiration from it. And until next time, take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
With me, let's leave the past behind. Walk